Hi everyone, this is Tracy here to recap episode 7 of Issa Rae's Insecure, and this is the second to last episode for the season. Hope everyone is having a great day, so let's get started. So the show opens with Issa trying to find a dress for the fundraiser that they're having with her job. And so she's telling Molly that she's really having fun, in this space she's in with Lawrence, and that, she kind of regrets, ever doubting their situation. And so she's going to be the best person that she can be so that, she can continue this flow of good things that's happening in her life in between her and Lawrence. And so Molly isn't really feeling any of the dresses that Issa is trying on. And it was funny because one of the dresses Issa put on, she came out in, and Molly was like, "You got that dress on backwards." And why Issa didn't know the dress was on backwards is beyond me, because all of this was exposed and you could see her bra and everything. But, Molly's kind of feeling down, and I'm sure it has to do with, the breakup with Jared, whether she wants to admit it or not. And so she's really not interested in anything that Issa has to say, especially if it's about joy and happiness. And we really have to be leery of friends like Molly, because if they can't, regardless of what they're going through, they still should be able to be happy for you. And I know there's been times that I've been down and depressed, but if my friends are happy, I'm happy, that they're happy and that they're, found the relationships they are looking for. And I don't see it as a reflection of me, not being in a relationship. So always be cautious of friends who can't be happy for you at all times. So Molly and her coworkers, they're out walking like on a mall downtown or something, and she runs into someone named Crystal that she knows from her past. And so she stops to go and talk to her. And Crystal sounds like she may be a lot like Molly, but she realizes, that she has low self-esteem and that she's living reckless. And so she tells Molly that she decided to go into therapy, and that she's learned so much about herself, and she's feeling better about life overall. And so Molly's kind of looking at her like, okay, whatever, hope that works for you. And so I don't know what was going on with Crystal's makeup, but she kind of looked like she was a dark skinned girl, but looked like she might have had on foundation for a light skinned person. Not sure if it was the camera or if it was the screen, that I was watching the show on, but that was not a good look for Crystal. So Lawrence is at his interview, and he's interviewing with these two guys that look like they could work for the Geek Squad at Best Buy, but they're the owners of the company. And so they're really impressed with Lawrence, and Lawrence is, giving them some ideas about how they can better improve the app or whatever it is that the company does. And so they are so impressed with Lawrence that they hired him on the spot. So when he gets home and Issa asks him, how did the interview go? He really doesn't seem that enthusiastic, even though they did offer him the job. And so, Issa is like, well, okay, well, what are the benefits like? So he told her that, the benefits are great. He gets free parking, and he got like 100 free t-shirts or something, but he never really talks about how much he's going to be making or what those real benefits are. So I don't know what's going on with the job, but he kind of throws out to Issa that he may not, really want to take the job, and because he realizes that the app that he's building is far more advanced than this company. So rather than waste his time helping somebody else build their company, he's thinking about maybe just doing his own company and finishing up the app. And of course, Issa's like, no, you can do that at nighttime. Go ahead and take this job. And so I couldn't help but think, if that was Tasha, the bank teller, she would have been like, baby, don't take that job. Go ahead and do you. Get yourself out there and start your own company, and then you can be the employer, bring in new people. But Issa doesn't see that vision for Lawrence. So it's the night of the fundraiser, and the team is setting up, and and they're really going on and on and on about this neighborhood and how they didn't know it existed. And so one of Issa's co-workers says that he heard that it used to be the black Beverly Hills. And so he turns to Issa, and he's asking her, what's the name of this neighborhood? Have you ever heard that? And so Issa, in her mind, she has these rants. She like goes off on them and curses them out and tell them, that she's not telling them anything because, as soon as they find that black people have something good, they want to come in and take over. And so that was her inside voice. But on her outside voice, she told them that she didn't know the name of the neighborhood, and asked them to move this bench. And so they were like, we just moved the bench from over there to where it is now. And she's like, well, I want to move it back over there, so they'll question my authority. And so I don't know why Issa's so mean to her coworkers. Kill them with kindness, Issa. So then the coworker who I thought name was Frida, but her name might not be Frida. And if you guys follow my reviews, I'm always screwing up people's names. So she's introducing Issa to the chef for the evening. So while Issa, her coworker, and the chef are talking, Molly arrives at the party. And so Issa walks away. And as she walks away, she says, Joanne, I'll talk to you later. So I don't know if she was calling the coworker Joanne or if the cook's name was Joanne, but I swear the day I thought I had that coworker's name down, Issa had called her Frida. So I don't know. I'll have to check IMBD to see what the correct name is. So Molly, she's outside and she's helping Issa bring some things in, and they're joking about, seeing people out walking dogs, and that's usually a sign of gentrification in the black neighborhoods because you really don't see black people out walking their dogs that much. So I'm thinking that the families must have been white. So they were talking, about that, and then Molly tells Issa that she ran into Crystal, and Crystal was actually their RA when they were in college. So Issa asks, how is Crystal doing? And so Molly tells her that she's in therapy and was pretty much downplaying, the whole idea that this girl had realized that she had a problem and was seeking help. Molly was trying to make light of the situation and make jokes about it. And she said something like, Crystal was acting like you can't be screwed up in the head and, sleep with everybody that you meet. So Molly, I thought when she was talking to Crystal that she kind of might have been open to the idea, but then now that she's with Issa, she's making fun of it. And so you can tell by Issa's expression that she wants to suggest to Molly that, maybe she gets some therapy, but she's, kind of not, understanding. So she's not sure how Molly is going to take it. So they kind of ease into the conversation, and probably just as she was suspecting, Molly's in her feelings, and is kind of feeling insulted by the fact that Issa would even think that she needs to go talk to somebody. So it's time for the fundraiser, and Issa has changed into her attire for the evening. And I think Issa is so pretty, and I may have said that before, but she had her hair braided back, and this really nice hairstyle, and the dress that she had on, it was sort of like a sage green, but it was body fitting, and it just really looked good on her. And I'm wondering how tall she is in real life, because she looks like she might be a really tall girl, but she was looking really nice. So the kids start to arrive, and of course they're all over the place, going through the people's drawers and everything. And Issa tells the co-worker, keep an eye on the kids, make sure they don't steal anything. And I'm like, Issa, you're so wrong, because kids might be bad, but they have home training, and I don't think they're going to steal anything from the people. They're just really curious, because they've probably never been in a house that big before. And so all of their friends, all of Issa and Molly's friends show up. And I think that's a really good look. They're there and they're supporting, and they each brought a check to donate to the fundraiser. So that's even better. But despite all the festivities, Molly's being Debbie Downer, all in her feelings. And so she's looking around, and although everybody's having a good time, she's complaining that there's no good looking guys there, or there are no guys that she can go run after. And I'm thinking, girl, just enjoy the evening and stop worrying about a damn man all the time. So Lawrence shows up, and he's looking good. I think he had on like a charcoal gray suit and charcoal gray jacket. And so he cleans up pretty well, and he joins the group. And then Issa, she tells him to, tell everybody about his new job. And so as he's, talking to the friends and telling them about where he's going to be working, Issa's manager comes over, and there is, I guess, a wealthy lady there, and she wants Issa to meet the lady and kind of smooth her, so she'll give a really good donation. And so Issa goes over and she's talking to the lady, and then she looks up and she sees Daniel arriving, and she's like, holy crap. And so she turns around and makes eye contact with Molly, and Molly has seen him also. So, without saying anything, Molly knows to go into survival mode. And so she goes to run interference and asks Daniel, why is he there? So when Molly gets over to where Daniel is, she's like, who invited you? So he let her know that everybody who participated in Career Day received an invitation. And so, she's basically like, don't come up here and start no shit, So this is Issa's night, stand down and be cool. And so, Daniel pretty much lets her know he's not thinking about her and he's not going anywhere. And so, Molly, she goes back downstairs. And so Issa, she's talking with the donor, but she's so focused on Daniel and what Daniel is doing that she kind of like brushes the lady off. And I'm like, Issa, that's not a good look. But she's worried about her relationship. And so she runs over to Molly, and she asks Molly, what did he say? So then, Molly's like, nothing I can do with the food. So Issa goes up, to meet, to confront Daniel, and ask him to leave. And so Daniel, he wants to talk about why she's not returning his phone calls, why she's treating him the way that she is. And so he says that, I just want to know the truth, why you treat me like some random ass nigga, And so then Issa tells him that, he was just an itch that she needed to scratch. And I'm like, Issa, that was so wrong. You didn't have to do the boy like that. And so, I'm thinking, Daniel, he's all in his feelings now, but if the tables were turned and Issa had been calling him after their little rendezvous, he probably would have been brushing her off and treating her like, he just wanted to get in her drawers, and now that he got in the drawers, he doesn't want her anymore. So one thing I like about this show is how they're doing like kind of role reversal, and like the women are one-upping the guys all the time. And so we see in the distance as Daniel is storming off that Lawrence had been watching them, watching their interaction. I don't think he could hear what they were saying, but he could see the body language and know that, it was a very personal, intimate conversation that was going on. So Lawrence, he gets kind of bold, and he walks out to the valet. He follows Daniel out. And so they're standing there, waiting for, well, Daniel was waiting for his vehicle, but Lawrence was just standing there, trying to build up his nerves to say something. So he finally asked Daniel what was his connection to the program or to the school. And so then Daniel doesn't really look at Lawrence, and I don't even know if he's ever met Lawrence before or know what Lawrence looks like, but he basically says that he doesn't have a connection anymore, and then he walks off to go get in his truck. And so, Lawrence is just standing there looking. And so back inside, we have Issa and Molly, and they're talking. And so Justin, who's the school teacher in the classroom that Issa's organization has adopted, he walks up, and he's I think he's like I think he's Asian. Yeah, I think he's Asian, and so he has his eyes set on Miss Molly, but Molly, she's being cold to him, and he asks if he could get her a drink, and she says, "No, I'm not drinking tonight." And so she was kind of rude to Justin, but Justin's a cute-looking guy. So Molly, you might want to get your act together. He might be what you need to get over the whole Jared situation. So it's later in the evening. The sun has gone down, and the party's kind of dying out. And so Issa confronts Molly to see what her issue is, because she's just been so negative and standoffish, all evening long. And so Molly pretty much lets Issa know that she didn't appreciate her suggesting that she needs therapy. And so Issa, is trying to defend what she was saying, and then Molly just goes all off and starts throwing Issa's business into her face. Molly's basically letting Issa know that she's not the only one that's messed up and needs therapy, and that Issa was the one that got distracted by the side piece and cheated on the main piece. And so, of course, Issa didn't like that little comment. So she comes for Molly, and starts throwing at her, about her dating issues and, why she can't keep a man and how she's like sleeping with everybody. And so then Molly tells Issa she doesn't deserve Lawrence, and things got real ugly from that point. And so, the thing about best friends, you're telling them all your business, and then things get heated like this, and you have a disagreement, and then people start throwing things out that they shouldn't be throwing out. And so here they are in the back of this house, and they're having this spat, like saying really mean things to each other, cursing each other out. And so I think Molly ends up storming off, and yeah, it wasn't a good showdown between Issa and Molly. It was kind of sad, to be honest. So after the argument, Molly leaves and Issa goes back inside. And so when she gets back in the yard, in the courtyard where they were having this party at, the kids and Justin are up on the stage and they're acknowledging their guests. And so the little girl who I thought name was Danielle, the teacher called her Deja. So I don't know what it is with these names. I don't know if I'm messing up the names or if they are forgetting in the writing that, these names are different. But anyway, or maybe it was a different little girl and she just looked like the same girl, the big Hispanic girl that, looked like she towers over everybody in the class. But anyway, the kids show their appreciation for, everything that Issa's organization did for them. And then they thank Issa and let her know that, she was really appreciated and she's really made a difference in their life. So I thought that was sweet. So then depressed, angry, upset, need therapy Molly ends up at Jared's house. And so I think her intention was to apologize to him and make amends. So when Jared opens the door, nothing that comes out of Molly's mouth is right. She basically puts him down, says that she's willing to settle for him, that he's not on her level. And no matter how she tried to rephrase that sentence, she just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper in that hole, to the point where Jared said that he was tired and he doesn't have time for this, and he just closed the door in her face. And I don't even think Jared opened the screen door. I think Molly might have been talking to him through the screen, but he wasn't having it and he wasn't feeling Molly. So, she knows she's royally messed up, and girl, I don't know if you're going to be able to fix it this time. So the party's ended and the people are there, they're cleaning, helping Issa and them clean up and get everything, all the decorations and everything up. So Issa's manager stops her and pretty much gives her kudos and tells her that she's really proud of the employee that she's turned into, and that she wished she had seen the same initiative in Issa a year ago. And so Issa was like, am I fired? And she was like, no, you're not fired. And she gives Issa a bottle of champagne and tell her to hide it in the box that she's carrying and, go home and celebrate. And I'm thinking, see, you was worried about them kids stealing, but look at your little manager here. She's stealing the caterer's champagne. But anyway, so that was a good look for Issa. And so she goes home with the champagne and, she wants to celebrate with Lawrence. But she finds Lawrence sitting on the sofa in the dark, and he's contemplating. And the only thing Lawrence wants to know is who was Daniel and if Issa fucked him. That's all he want to know. And so, Issa's beating around the bush, and that kind of confirmed it for Lawrence. And he jumped up off that sofa, and I really thought this was one of those inner body experiences that Issa, have sometimes. But no, this was the real thing. Lawrence cursed her out, and I was like afraid, thinking that Lawrence was going to hit her at one point. And so Issa was telling him, it was a mistake, it only happened once. And and Lawrence is like, so you ruined what we had for a mistake. And that's really profound. Stop going outside your relationship to fix what's wrong inside your relationship. And so, Lawrence is trying to leave and Issa's, blocking the door. And I'm just sitting on the side of the bed like, oh my God, Issa, move out the way, because please don't let Lawrence hit her or knock her across that room. But, he reached for the door and he kind of like pulled the door open, and it kind of like pulled her with the door. And so he walked out, and of course, Issa's devastated. So now, despite the fight between her and Molly, they're both in the same place right now. They've both been rejected by the men that they care about. And so I was wondering, like, do you think that Lawrence overreacted, to finding out that Issa had slept with Daniel? And what do you think about either one of these relationships? Do you think Issa and Lawrence are going to work it out? And do you think that Jared will ever forgive Molly and that they will finally work their situation out? So let's get the conversation started. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And the season finale looks like it is going to be fire. So meet me back here next week for that. And until then, check out my other reviews. I have Sweetie Pies, Married to Medicine, and Real Housewives of Atlanta that I put up last night and earlier today. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Bye bye.